Hi, PerspectaWeather.com meteorologist Paul Dorian here on Monday, December 10th. Well, the major winter storm that hit the southern U.S. quite hard yesterday and last night is now moving slowly away from the Carolina coastline and out to sea. It left a wide swath of snow all the way from Texas to North Carolina, Virginia. The bullseye region did end up being western and central North Carolina, southern part of Virginia, some areas reporting up to 2 feet of snow in the higher elevations of interior North Carolina. This is a snow cover map from very early today. It's quite extensive across the country for the 10th of December. In fact, hasn't been this widespread since 2013, so it's the most widespread snow cover for this time of December in the last 5 years. But again, bullseye region right in here, southern part of Virginia, across much of upper North Carolina. Some areas reporting up to 2 feet of snow. The D.C. metro region was really the northernmost extent of the snowfall. In the mid-Atlantic region, places like Culpeper, Virginia, ended up with an inch of snow. It increased dramatically from north to south, maybe 6+ inches or so. In Charlottesville, nearly a foot of snow fell in Richmond, and again, that snow path, that swath, extended all the way back across Oklahoma and into the northern part of Texas. Lots of heavy rainfall down closer to the Gulf region. Even this morning, there's still some precipitation falling in some of this area. We'll look at the radar in a moment as the storm only slowly pulls away from the Carolina coastline. Well, here's the latest radar loop from Telecast.com. Again, still some precipitation falling in the Carolinas, all the way down into southern Virginia, even way back to northern Alabama. It's just on the verge of being cold enough for some light snow, perhaps in northern Alabama, some drizzle. This will just slowly dissipate over the next few hours as low pressure pulls away from the Carolina coastline. Meanwhile, out west, another a round of precipitation with some snow in the higher elevations and rain along coastal locations. Well, let's take a look at last night's 6Z run of the GFS model by NOAA. We have another big storm to deal with during the upcoming week. It looks like Friday, Saturday, perhaps even a Sunday, there'll be a pretty big storm in the northeastern quadrant of the country affecting the Mid-Atlantic region, the Great Lakes region, the northeast U.S. This is the 2-meter temperature anomaly chart as we begin the new work week here on Monday morning. A lot of colder than normal conditions right now throughout the eastern half of the nation, and very cold up across the eastern part of Canada. And we'll push forward here and see that the next few days generally colder than normal here Tuesday, and then as we get into Wednesday, still generally colder than normal. Continues to pattern in recent days in the eastern part of the U.S. Notice the western 2/3 of the nation starting to turn above normal, and we'll get milder as that storm approaches the northeastern U.S. by the end of the week. But it's going to be a close call initially between rain or snow. Still too early to say. There will not be any frozen precipitation from this next system that again impacts places like D.C., Philadelphia, New York City later Friday into Saturday. A little too early to write off the threat for frozen precipitation. Ends up probably primarily in the form of rain, but here we go. Now Thursday morning, still colder than normal. That's the problem with this next system coming at the end of the work week. Still a lot of cold air hanging on along the east coast, and still some questions as to exactly where the system winds up, if it's well inland or a little bit farther to the south and east than some of the models are predicting right now. Here we go by Thursday night. Still notice a little patch of below normal conditions here in the Mid-Atlantic region. Of course, some of this is impacted by the deep snowpack, and while we're on that subject about the deep snowpack, this does not look like good news for North Carolina, Southern Virginia. The fact that there could very well be a decent rain event by Friday night, Saturday, in that same area that received all this snowfall. That, of course, could lead to some potential flooding problems. Here we now, Friday morning, so relatively close to normal here. That's around when the moisture will start to arrive from the southwest to the northeast. So we'll have to monitor this set up quite closely over the next few days. Well, now let's take a look at the surface forecast maps. Again, some precipitation lingering across the Tennessee Valley, the North Carolina, South Carolina region, and it's basically in any type of precipitation form right now. Snow, sleet, freezing rain, even some light rain closer to the coast. That slowly dissipates as this area of low pressure pulls eastward out to sea over the next few hours, but still, even into the mid to late afternoon hours, a little bit of lingering precipitation in those areas. Some of those areas have received significant snowfall over the last 24 hours or so. Then basically cold, dry weather for much of the eastern U.S. Again, a storm moves ashore in the Pacific Northwest over the next day or two. And there is going to be a weak disturbance that arrives in the Mid-Atlantic region late Wednesday night, early Thursday morning. Very well could set off some snow shower activity early Thursday morning, for example, in D.C., Philadelphia, New York City. And then we turn to the southwest. A big storm starts to take shape here over the south central U.S. A 998 low depicted by last night's GFS model run for Thursday afternoon. Let's keep moving forward here. Again, some cold air hanging on along the coast at low levels of the atmosphere. That makes it a little bit tricky of a forecast in terms of precipitation type at the beginning of this weekend system here. But by the time we get into Friday night, either some frozen precipitation or perhaps more likely rain in the I-95 corridor. Some of that rain could certainly turn out to be heavy at times late Friday night, going into the day on Saturday. Again, notice right here, kind of an inland track for this particular storm. Not 100% guaranteed set in stone. Some signs point to a farther south and east track. That would allow the colder air to stick around a little bit longer in the I-95 corridor region. So we'll have to fine-tune this as the week progresses here. Here by Saturday morning, quite a healthy system in the northeastern quadrant, but a lot of cold air around. Still some cold air diving on the backside and some cold air initially on the front side that we'll have to monitor closely over the next few days. But for the next couple of days here in the Mid-Atlantic region, basically cold and dry. Then we have another storm system to deal with Friday, Saturday, Sunday time frame. That's it for now. For PerspectaWeather.com, I'm meteorologist Paul Doria.